This video is called Using Archives, a Document Analysis. To use archives and primary sources effectively, you need to ask questions of the documents. These questions help you to assess the document as evidence and determine how useful it is for your research. Archives can be used to create your own interpretation of events and help assess other interpretations. You shouldn't assume that archives are hard to use, but they are not like published materials. You'll need to find out more information to help you make sense of it. In this video, we will look closely at one document and consider the questions we need to ask to make sense of it. This is the document we're going to look at. The information I'm going to tell you now is that it's from the University of Sussex Special Collections, which are housed in the Keep, and the rest we're going to find out during this video. Have a go at reading through this document yourself. You can pause the video now. So the main text in this document is, Dear Miss Blakey, winter is approaching. I want bed socks. I want them thick and warm and coming well over the ankle, and I want them soon. Mrs. Kipling has a splendid pair. I haven't any. I don't mind about the colour because few will see them. My feet, as you know, of course, are small and beautiful and take a number 7 shoe. Please make me a pair, material, immaterial, and make them so as Elsie can't steal them. Sincerely yours, Rudyard Kipling. The first question we ask in a document analysis is, what is it? That might seem basic, but it's the best place to start. So what is it? Now this is a letter, and I know that because it has the form of a letter. So we've got an address at the top, we've got a Dear Miss Blakey, and we've got a Sincerely yours, Rudyard Kipling. Those things are very standard in letters. So that's my clues, so I'm going to say it's a letter. The next question is, who made it? Now, letters are great for this because they more often than not have a from and then the person who wrote it. So in this case, we've got Sincerely yours, Rudyard Kipling. So what we can do is find out more information about Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling was a journalist, writer, and poet, and a novelist. Born in 1865, died in 1936, and is probably best known for writing The Jungle Book and the Just So stories. But you can easily look up Rudyard Kipling to find out more about him. The next question we ask, when was it made? Again, letters are great for this. So, well done, Rudyard Kipling, you've put the date on your letter. So let's have a look at that. Now, it's handwritten, so it can be a bit tricky. So on first view, it looks a bit like Feb 22nd, 1918. But let's have a closer look, because the first line, remember, of this letter is winter is approaching. And so February wouldn't fit with that, because that's coming to the end of winter. So I think that actually says SEP, S-E-P, short for September. Even though it looks like February in that italic style, I think it's SEP. The next question, what is it telling us? So now we look again at the letter. So we know it's from Rudyard Kipling. It's to somebody called Miss Blakey, so we need to do some research there. We know it's September the 22nd, 1918. So that puts us just before the end of World War I. We can tell a lot from actually the letterhead. So if we look up here, the telephone number 96, that tells us that there weren't many telephones around at the time because the number is 96. We can find out a little bit more about Rudyard Kipling. So who is Elsie? Elsie's actually his daughter. We know there's a Mrs. Kipling. We can also ask, what isn't it telling us? So This is September the 22nd, 1918. We know that the war finishes in November. Rudyard Kipling's son, John, was missing in action in 1915 at the Battle of Loos. Rudyard Kipling became very involved then in the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. So this is a very jaunty letter at what is probably a very tense and sad time. So it'd be interesting to find out who Miss Blakey is, that he writes this type of letter to her. Where it's from and why do we have it? This is about the context. Giving context to a document may reveal its meaning and significance. If you look at a single document, you may get evidence that it's useful for your research, but you might want to look at it in relation to the collection that it's part of. The meaning can be altered in the light of the broader context. So we touched on context a little bit when we were doing What Is It Telling Us, the context of World War I and the Kipling family. But it'd be really useful to know what collection this document is part of. Are there other letters to Miss Blakey from Rudyard Kipling that would set this in its context? I can provide more information about the context now. So this is a letter Rudyard Kipling to Miss Blakey, who was governess to the Kipling children between 1904 and 1909. So Miss Blakey looked after the Kipling children. So that might explain the tone of the letter. And the collection is the Kipling Blakey letters, archive reference SXMS 75. So if I look at the Kipling Blakey letters on the Keep catalogue, I can see the collection level description. So this describes the whole collection, not just the one document that we've been looking at. And I can find a lot more context for that document, and I can also find out why we have it. So if I look down here to custodial history, it was donated to the University of Sussex Library by Lisa Lewis in 2003. So we can find out more about Lisa Lewis, but also in this collection level description, we find out that the letters span 1905 to 1930, so that's quite a long time, 25 years. There are also some from the Kipling's children, so there's a lot more context, a lot more of a picture that we can build up there, as well as having the ability to find out more about Rudyard Kipling, his wife Carrie, and their children John and Elsie. So there's a lot of information contextually that you can build up using the website and the catalogue. Knowing the context of a single document can help you evaluate it as evidence. What's it part of? Is it authentic? Has it come from the person who created it? So, as we come to the end, a reminder that to use archives effectively, you need to ask questions. What is it? Who made it? When was it created? What is it telling us? Building up that context. Where is it from and why do we have it? You might want to consider how it makes you feel. What other information do we need to know? Always ask for help if you're not sure. If you're looking at archives in a reading room, there'll be a member of staff there who can assist you, and there'll always be more contextual information on the catalogue and the website.